I have been referencing the parallels to 1981 a lot tonight, and the assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life was just another big one. The attack on July 13th was the first of its kind since the attack on Reagan in 1981. There's been a lot of talk lately about who the shooter was. At this point, for some unknown reason, all we really know is he was a 20-year-old that apparently had no social media imprint. None. Nothing on the internet about him. Nothing of substance, even on his phone. But don't worry, because, that's common, with teenagers and 20-somethings now. But the FBI and the Secret Service are on the case, so we're going to find out really soon. Now, never mind that the FBI has now been weaponized against the American people. Never mind that the FBI still has no idea what motivated the Las Vegas attack. They still haven't found the pipe bomber from January 6th. They can't even find the guy. It's weird. Never mind the fact that the FBI doesn't know who used cocaine in the White House, or the fact that the FBI doctored evidence to get a FISA warrant approved on Donald Trump's campaign. Never mind those things. Never mind the fact that the FBI doctored a crime scene at Mar-a-Lago to make Trump look more guilty. No, it's all good. It's all good. And besides, the Secret Service is working alongside of them. And we can all trust the Secret Service. It's not like they ever tampered with evidence, like text messages from January 6th or anything. Oh, gosh, they did do that. My mistake. But we have more immediate problems than what motivated the shooter. What is his politics? I'm sure you'd heard every conservative speaker over the past week, or the past few days, talk about the climate we're currently living in. I got it. It's pretty obvious. Democrats and the mainstream media have been calling Trump literally Hitler for nearly 10 years. And I love this because last week when he appointed J.D. Vance, they actually said he may be worse than Hitler. And I thought to myself, who's worse than Hitler? Well, J.D. Vance, of course. Anyway, both the media and elected officials claim Trump will round everybody up in some sort of a camp. Biden calls Trump the greatest threat to the country almost every single day. If George Washington himself was suddenly resurrected and he took a look at the news, I think he might be compelled. You know what? Where can I get a musket? They've been that irresponsible. It's almost as if the media and the left are breeding young assassins through the most insane rhetoric possible. The next thing they would do is use our schools to just indoctrinate kids to be protesters. I predicted back in May that Trump was in grave danger. I said 2 years ago, the only thing left are assassinations. And in this climate, that's not going to be hard. Back in May, I told you the only man standing between you and the government, and Biden's global cabal is Donald Trump. And I said everything they're doing right now would inspire assassins. Okay, well, we got it. They tried to stop him first by calling a Russian asset. Nope, it failed. They tried to impeach him twice, failed. They tried to sue him, it failed. They tried to indict him. They convicted him on trumped-up charges, but that failed. If you're a modern progressive Democrat, see gullible, misguided, and probably unstable. What else is there left for you to do besides shoot the man? But let's not talk about the shooter right now. The man that shot Ronald Reagan, he didn't even do it for politics. He wanted to impress a movie star, Jodie Foster. Dude. She's on the other team. But the question is, how? How in this ridiculously hot political climate was the shooter able to fire multiple shots at President Trump and come this close to killing him? How did that happen? Well, there are tons of questions that need to be answered, but we're not getting any of the answers right now. But let me focus on 3 of them. 1, did the Secret Service follow standard protocols for securing an event of this magnitude? This includes, was there a multi-tiered security setup with access restrictions? Were potential enemy sniper positions identified and designated and properly guarded. I mean, with the exception of it being really hot or the slopiness of a roof. The first question should be easy to verify. The Secret Service's communication and advanced planning can be viewed by Congress. If we can't get an answer, and Congress can't get an answer on that most basic, then we have bigger problems. The government is completely out of control. Did the Secret Service direct law enforcement to guard their pre-designated potential enemy sniper positions? Again, basic. The Secret Service assigns law enforcement to restrict access to potential firing positions. It can easily be verified. Did they do it? And if so, who dropped the ball? And number 3, and this is the most disturbing, did the shooter have help? We don't know these answers, but I drew up a little schematic here, of the event area. And it's just lovely on my teeny little chalkboard. This is where Trump was speaking. So he was orange man, bad. He was right there. The building where law enforcement counter snipers were set up were right here. Okay? Now, I want you to take note of how wide open this area is. Okay? There are multiple ways in. There's even other private structures adjacent to the venue. This is the fence line of the venue. This is private. This is private. This is private. Okay. If you look at the one here on the far right, that's just a house. Okay. But they put a zip tie around the gate. So nobody's getting there through that zip tie. You know what I'm saying? So you and I aren't experts, but look at this position, maybe these 2 positions. I mean, I could see several spots that could be labeled as, potential problems if Trump is here. Now, there are 2 buildings at the bottom of the far left, right here. These are also structures right directly in the water tower and a private structure on the right. But what's most obvious? If your guy is here, you should be up on the water tower because that's the highest point. Okay? I learned that from cowboy movies when I was 6. Then you have these. This building in particular, have you noticed how close it is? This is where the shooter took his shots. He was laying right here. Okay? On the slopey part. Okay? I don't know how he survived that steep 3% grade. It was dangerous. And he climbed up a ladder that was right here. Now, this is where Trump is speaking. This is where the gun is. Boom. It's not a hard shot, 130 yards. Now, we know through recent disclosures that the building the shooter was firing from was an actual staging point for law enforcement. There were counter snipers. They were they weren't there or there. They were in this building. Okay. They actually here. And I don't know what they were doing or what they thought they could see inside the building, but that's where they were. So question number 2, did the Secret Service direct law enforcement to guard their designated danger areas? Unclear. It takes more than a couple of weeks to track that down. It might have helped, and maybe you had to tell these people that you should watch the outside of the building. Why were counter snipers inside rather than up on the roof? Oh, have you heard this answer yet? Oh, this one's a gem you don't want to miss. Next. I love this. So why weren't law enforcement snipers staged right here? Right here. Okay. Well, the Secret Service Director, Kimberly Cheatle, who's recently passed, we lost her. She addressed that. Quote, that building right here, this building has a sloped roof at its highest point. So, and I'm quoting, as you know, there's a safety factor that would be considered there, that you wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof. Okay, let me just show you the sloped roof. If this is the building, the sloped roof is like that. Okay. And is this what you learn in sniper school? Got to do everything you can to protect the president, but there's two things. One, unless the roof is slopey. Okay, I think there's an E in there because that's a real word. Unless it's slopey, then you don't protect the president. Now, it's interesting that the dangerous slope roof didn't really seem to bother the assassin. And the building in question kind of seems like the type of building that law enforcement snipers were set up on, oh, I don't know, here. Why was this one not so slopey, but this one is too slopey? Now, there's another reason. And if you know this, if you've gone to sniper school, because remember, kids, what's the first thing? You protect the president at all costs unless, yes, slopey roofs, or it's too hot outside. Too hot outside. Now, I know some of you are in Afghanistan and Iraq, and it gets pretty hot there, but not for this. Not for this. Not on a slopey roof. Are you kidding me? Ooh, you could burn your hand on it. Ooh, that roof is hot. Oh, it'd be bad, okay? This is from the Secret Service director, who has one big fat, and she's just covering it, okay? That's why she's no longer with us. But President Biden wished her a hearty farewell. She's done a great job. The president was almost killed under her. Anyway, if there are any doubts on the number 3 question that I posed, recent reporting from both the New York Post and CBS News reveal a compelling timeline to the entire attack. The adjacent neighbors on the property surrounding the venue, like these people and these people and the people, down the street all around, they were never contacted by Secret Service. No. The gates to the area were unmanned. But like I said earlier, you can't do it yourself because it's slopey or you don't have enough. You use what I like to call, now this is technical, zip ties. T-I-E-S. It could be, I don't know. I've never purchased a zip tie. Never. Are those the kind you zip? Anyway, one question, did the Secret Service follow standard protocols? If that's standard protocols, we're lucky any official is still standing. The shooter was spotted around this area, okay, 26 minutes before he opened fire, okay? He's walking around. He actually has a rangefinder, and he's like, oh, how far is that? I'm just looking at what the distance is in case I wanted to play golf. Okay, so there's spotting him, looking at the building, that they're supposed to be securing. They're watching him do this. Yeah, that's weird, huh? And they're watching, apparently they saw this from inside the building. Then the shooter disappeared or walked out of the, view of these guys who maybe could peer through a window. Shooter comes back and then seen with the snipers from inside looking at his phone. Police then take a photo of him. The shooter then takes out the rangefinder again. The sniper team inside the building report it to the command post. Hey, there's a guy. He's weird and he looks like he's up to something with a rangefinder. Should we do anything, George? The shooter leaves, then comes back, this time carrying a backpack. But don't worry, nothing suspicious in that backpack. He didn't have it the previous times he was spotted. Then all of a sudden he had it, and then they lost him. Again, he walked away from the window or something. I don't know. Then he proceeds to go to the back of the building, which the cops can't see, of course, because they're inside the building. Now, I do want to say, going back to the too hot theory, there is something that a lot of people would call a window right here in the second story, okay, where somebody could set themselves up and see the roof without being on anything slopey or hot. They could sit in the air conditioning, they could see the ladder and the roof from this point, okay? At this point, them not seeing it, all the people here, they're like, hello. The video is captured by bystanders. It's amazing. Watch, there it is. Bystanders are saying, he's on the top of the roof there, officer.
Right there, see him?
Right there.
He's laying down, see him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
Okay, Trump is still not on the stage.
What's happening?
Okay, he either has just walked on the stage or he's about to walk on the stage, because the police, they're like, hey, there's somebody strange up on our roof. Okay, the Secret Service let the president go on stage. The same guy that was using the rangefinder now apparently is on the roof. Maybe he's making popcorn because the roof is very, very hot. It was during the time of this video that two officers helped each other get to the top of the roof. The shooter turned and pointed the rifle at them. A rifle in the hands of a suspicious person in the prone position on the slopey roof, which was supposedly too dangerous for law enforcement snipers. He was known to them. They peek their head up. He turns their gun on them. They go down the ladder. This goes on for exactly 2 minutes and 1 second, and the rest is history. So I would have to say, did they operate as per usual protocol? I would say a big fat no. No, I don't think they did. I don't even know. We don't even know who is that. Because honestly, if that's a local guy, I want to hear his side of the story. If he was just some local sniper, I want to know who he is. And if that is actually what happened, that guy should never be anywhere near a law enforcement office ever. Law enforcement was not deployed in order to deny someone access to an obvious and well-known shooting position. The last question 3, did he have help? I don't know. Don't know. And that's the scariest part of all of this. The guy had no digital footprint. He's 20 years old. No digital footprint. Wow. And yet he did have seemingly some sort of cryptic app, or it could hide who you were and who you were talking to. And he was either getting information or communicating with 3 people in 3 different countries. All of it encrypted. Can we find maybe, is this just incompetence? Maybe at the highest example of it. Maybe it's just general indifference to President Trump's safety. Maybe it's something worse. But I do know the Secret Service failed not only Trump, but they failed their oath. They failed the country, the Constitution on Saturday. Can you imagine what would have happened if Trump died? That's how close we were to a revolution. Take a look at this video. This is the aftermath, after the Secret Service took Trump to his vehicle. I know people have made fun of this woman, enough. But it's really, may I just say, unprofessional. You can't find your holster. Another woman is scurrying around frantically, does a complete 360-degree turn. What is happening at the institution responsible for protecting the most powerful people in the world? Kim Cheatle, the director of the Secret Service, she got her job not after a gentle nudge, but a push from not Joe, but Jill Biden. She was brought back to the Secret Service after serving a stint protecting Doritos at Pepsi. I'm serious. And what are her priorities? Quote, She's responsible for successfully executing the agency's integrated mission of protection and investigations by leading a diverse workforce. Yeah. By the way, DEI is racist. Racist, you're bigoted. It's unfair. And ultimately, DEI is dangerous to all of us. Cheatle testified to Congress a couple of days ago. The Secret Service failed on July 13th, but they had to pull it out of her. Would you say it was a colossal failure? The answer is yes. She resigned later that day. It actually was a surprise to me because nobody ever resigns. Nobody ever is charged with anything in this administration. There's zero accountability from the government in the last 4 years. I talked to Jim Jordan this morning on radio, and I begged him, please tell me this is not the end of the questions. And he said, no, we're not stopping. Did you see this from the Heritage Foundation's Oversight Project? They tracked cell phone data and found that someone who visited the shooter's home and work traveled to Washington, D.C., and was in the same building as the FBI offices. Now, can't verify that he was in the office, but somebody was really either in the office or near the office. Maybe they were on a slopey roof. I don't know. But who was it that was in the shooter's house and his work and then in Washington, D.C. at the FBI offices? And then there's this. Congressman Mike Waltz claimed the FBI briefed them on the shooting, having the shooter having the 3 encrypted accounts overseas. That's important. No follow-up on that. I talked to Jim Jordan this morning. He said, no, we don't have any answers yet. Well, somebody should get some. And if not, they absolutely should go to jail. Contempt. This is obstruction of justice. What the hell are they doing? How many 20-year-olds do you know have multiple encrypted overseas accounts and no digital footprint? And then tries to assassinate a former president. Things are about to change. We won't recognize our country by the time we get to Christmas. It's going to be completely different. Some legacies are burning. Other legacies are rising. Anything could happen. You just keep asking questions. Keep your foot on the pedal, planted firmly on the floor. We have a long, long way to go until November.